Taylor Swift made the shocking statement recently that instead of working with a major publisher, any of whom would have loved to publish her book, she is going to publish her own book and manage her own distribution channels, chiefly through Target. Why is this important to you? If you are an author, a speaker, a content creator, doing any kind of thought leadership in 2025, well, stay tuned because I'm going to show you exactly why. I'm going to break down the reasoning behind her decision and how it applies even if you don't already have an Eras Tour-sized empire. Here's what we want to know. Number one, the game that everyone was playing before up until now in publishing has been, if you were a celebrity, you have a major publisher like Random House, Simon & Schuster, HarperCollins do your book and they promote it heavily and partner with you, and that's the way the game was played. So it was a big surprise to many of those publishers that Taylor decided to cut out the publisher altogether and directly bring her own book to market and do the deal herself with Target and any other distributors she chooses. But it's not a surprise to me at all because the game in publishing is changing. It's changing for big name celebrities, but it's also changing for anyone that's going to bring out a book this year. Now I'm wearing my Taylor Swift red lipstick in honor of this video today because I want us all to glean what we can from someone who's obviously really brilliant at marketing and empire building like Taylor is. Now we're going to break it down big picture and then I'm going to look at it into how it works on the micro level for those of us that are not already household names. The first thing we want to think about is what really was the role of the publisher and author in relation to books coming out. So it's always been the most prestigious thing to get a big publisher. I did this on my first book, got an agent, had the publisher, name behind you, and it's all very exciting. But when we really look at the specifics, it's not always set up to be the most advantageous for the author. For example, in what's called traditional publishing, which is what this would have been if Taylor had partnered with a major publishing house, the way it works is that authors, pitch agents. The agents pitch directly to the publishers because they won't talk to authors themselves. They need that gatekeeper of the agent. If the book gets a book deal, the author might receive an advance and the publisher pays to make the book cover, get it distributed. They typically don't do much marketing if you're not a big name celebrity. And then the publisher keeps 90% of all profits. The author receives 10%, 10% of that goes to the agent, and the author receives nothing until the advance is paid out of profits. This is really important, not paid out of book sales like I thought when I got my first $20,000 advance, but actually on profits. So if you just think about, without me getting into really dialed in metrics of, let's say in a traditionally published book, the author would receive $1 per book, which was very much the norm for many years. Well, if you need to make $1 per book out, in profits, and you got a $20,000 advance, that's a lot of books before you're having any other income coming in. So that's one thing to think about, the financials of this. And someone like Taylor Swift, or someone who maybe like you is building an audience on YouTube, has a following on Instagram, has an email list, is speaking at events that you host online or in person, or going to be a speaker at conferences like I do and many of our clients do, well then, what is it that we want to pay attention to? Well, what we want to pay attention to is the fact that this may not be the kind of trade you want to make. The publisher owns your book, so if creative control is important, I, for instance, when I got my first book deal, was so excited, was told you will have no say on the cover whatsoever. I also got no say in distribution. So Taylor Swift is doing a deal, with Target because she loves going to Target when her albums release. That's a great platform for her. Her fans shop there. And so she's doing this, deal with Target. Well, that makes total sense, right? If she'd gone through a traditional publisher, they would get to decide if she does the deal with Target. They'd get to decide the terms. So I was offered to be featured in airport bookstores, which was a dream of mine because, by the way, a book saved my life 20 years ago because I found it in an airport bookstore. So this felt like a huge kind of full circle moment. I was so excited. And because the publisher owned my book, they said no, for reasons I've never understood. And so therefore I was not able to proceed and be featured in the airport bookstores. So there are financial implications, there are creative control implications, there are distribution and other types of, merchandise, other deals, other types of being featured that factor in, and timing. Okay, the next thing you need to think about is the timing. So the timeline for a traditionally published book, probably not for a Taylor Swift celebrity. They're gonna do that book really fast. But for the regular person that wants to get a book deal, you're going to spend whatever time you spend actually writing a manuscript and proposal, which takes as long as it takes, right? Then you've got to pitch agents, which could take anywhere from 3 to 12 plus months. Then that agent is going to typically on average spend about a year with you crafting revisions on the proposal, the manuscript, the pitch. Then they're going to start shopping it. So you're looking at a, 1 to 2 year process minimum. And then the traditional publishers are acquiring books, except in rare cases like a big celebrity name, they're buying now already for a year or two out. So you are looking at a multi-year minimum timeline, 2 to 5 years. So all of these things kind of came together for Taylor Swift, obviously making this decision. It certainly came together for me because I didn't want to be subjected to not having creative control, not being able to do the kind of partnerships and distribution opportunities that came to me that I was excited that were really aligned. The financial 90-10 split, if the publisher's not going to do any marketing and then 10% to an agent, if they're not able to do anything else, doesn't make a ton of sense. Now, what you are saving, of course, is the upfront investment in your own book, right? Because the publisher is paying for that, and you are getting the prestige of saying, I'm at this big name house. However, the more people like Taylor Swift and Dan Sullivan, who owns Strategic Coach, and Tony Robbins and Mark Devine from the Navy SEALs, and all these people who are have built audiences, have built brands, have become well known, the more they are going to do their own books, the more you're going to see that prestige balance also start to change. Because if everyone loves these big name thought leaders and celebrities and they're doing their own books, what is really, like that prestige balance changes. So I think you're going to see changes in that in the coming year. Now, I've just finished my 6th book. They've all been bestsellers. Like I said, I went traditional on the first round, got an agent, did the traditional publishing deal, did that. There were many good things about it. I learned so much about the industry. It's helped me serve our clients and my future books the way I want, but I knew that I was not going to do that again for the financial split that felt out of balance, for the creative control, distribution control, and finally the timeline. It's why I started my own publishing company that we work with our clients, because we wanted to be able to bring a new model to people who are content creators, thought leaders, speakers, coaches, experts in their space, industry leaders, because it's not always the best model, even though it's the way the game has traditionally been played. So what does this mean for you? We know why Taylor Swift did it. I've given you a little bit of background on why I've done it. I've helped now thousands of incredible people who do not have audiences like Taylor Swift. Usually the people I'm working with have not built their audience yet. They have not built their email list yet. They have not built a massive following on social. That's all what we're helping them do in Thought Leader Academy. It's what I'm working on, in my own work as an author, speaker, and coach, thought leader. And so what we want to do now is break this down on the micro level so that you know what's the best option for you. And to do that, I'm going to just give a mini little brief piece here that's going to explain the difference between the styles of publishing. It'll take less than a minute. The first style we've already talked about, traditional publishing. You get an agent, the agent pitches to the publisher owns the book, and you do exactly the scenario I just outlined for you. The next thing that came available was self-publishing, which got a bad rap because people called it vanity publishing, and it's just sort of you as the author invest in your book. It usually represented sort of low quality. It didn't look very nice. Someone kind of just put their book up on Amazon or online, and that was that. And they really, there was a quality issue and all kinds of things. Then hybrid publishing came on the scene. Basically, you still invest in your book, and this time there is a publisher that knows more about the industry that's able to help bring out a quality product, maybe do some marketing with you, really partner with you, and you split the profits half and half. In self-publishing, you keep everything you make because it's your book and you invest in it. In hybrid publishing, you're still investing the same amount, so this model doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but you're having more partnership and you're splitting the proceeds. I don't like any of those models, and so what happened for me is I wanted to bring something new because I felt like there is a way to have the best of all worlds. And so the model that I love, the model that I use, the model that our clients use with us at Thought Leader Academy Publishing is the model of what I call entrepreneurial publishing. It's not an industry term so much yet, but I truly believe with people like Taylor Swift making making this move, it absolutely will be. And regardless of if it's a known thing or not, it's the one that I find most author forward, most honoring of the expert who is going out there with the book. In entrepreneurial publishing, my vision and dream that we built was to pull the best of all worlds. So it said, okay, I want the speed of self-publishing, which is 3 to 4 months once the manuscript is finished. I want the full author keeps all the money, financials, right? So you get the time and the money pieces working in the author's favor. So, when I publish my book with our publishing company, when our clients do, they keep every single dollar that book makes, 100%. That is so important to me. Also, full creative control, as we talked about. It's your book. The team is there to serve the cover design that brings your ideas to life. What is the marketing that is aligned for you? Are you a podcast person and you want to go on podcast tours? Do you want to go speak and give keynotes where people bundle and buy your book in bulk from a company, and then you go in and give a keynote presentation? Do you want to use your book as a lead magnet and attract clients and set up a book funnel so that people are seeing your book, they're registering, you're an expert, they're coming in with maybe a free gift, they get the book, then they binge watch all your cool stuff on a book portal. Whole nother video on that will be coming for you. And you're having a lead magnet, lead generation, which you can do through, online, through social media, through email marketing, through even direct mail, like physically mailing books. Don't knock it. I know someone making $1 million a year through direct mail with her book. So there's many things. I'll have all the videos on all the different strategies for you on this channel. But for today, the point is, what is the landscape of publishing? How has the game been being played? And how do you want to be a game changer this year in deciding what's the right model for you? If it's good enough for Taylor to do what I'm going to call entrepreneurial publishing, what I love, the model I love, is what I see her opting in for. I think you'll see more and more, everyone from celebrities to emerging thought leaders, use this model. And I can tell you 6 books in, it is by far, for me, has been the most lucrative and the most fulfilling and the most rewarding and the most door opening for all those other opportunities that we write the books to open the doors in the first place. I'm really excited for you to have this information and understand, when you see someone like Taylor Swift making this kind of a move, what's behind it? What's really in the background? What is the point? Because she could have, like we said, every single publisher in New York salivating, offering her $1 million advance. It's still not as good as what she's doing with entrepreneurial publishing. So I'm very happy and thrilled that you're here getting in on this now. You don't have to wait till you're Taylor Swift to employ this model and use it to give you more of what you want and deserve with your book. Let me know what the most important takeaway you got from this video, and if you learned even one interesting or helpful thing from this video, please subscribe. It will help me bring you a weekly video that is going to be impactful, strategic, inspiring, really most importantly actionable, so that you can have a bigger impact and make the revenue you deserve this year. I'm super excited to see your book as the next bestseller.